Okay, I am live. I am now live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Skyfall Blind Dreamer. Welcome to my 16th Lucid Dreaming Q&A. Yes, this is my 16th. I can't believe it. It's a lot. I'm here to cut up and have a little fun. It's after midnight my time. I'll be going to bed basically when I'm done with this, and I just wanted to have a little fun with you guys before I headed out, answer your Lucid Dreaming questions, and my last Q&A, considering that was on a cruise ship, yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago. It was pretty fun. Had a lot of fun on that trip. Wasn't able to be active on the Discord much, unfortunately, but it was fun. I had a good time. Now, I've been kind of busy last week. I've been doing some other stuff. Haven't really managed to get a live stream in. I wanted to do one on I want to do a couple. I want to do one the weekend I got back from the cruise, but then that kind of went by the wayside. And then during the week I was doing stuff, so I wasn't really around. And then last weekend I just didn't find the time. So it's Tuesday morning my time. For you Aussies or people in Asia, it's Tuesday afternoon. And for the you people in Europe, some of you might be awake. Who knows? No idea. Well, let's see what we got going on, shall we? Let's see. Does it show how many are watching? Come on. 7. Holy crap. This ought to be good. All right, guys. Let's get into this. Give me a sec, and I will start. Hello, Claude. Fish. The Flopper. Hey. Thank you, Claude. Hi. Jelly Yeet. Hello. Guys, please remember to start your comments. This is grammar school. Start your comments with a capital letter, please. Otherwise, it reads "am I" instead of 12:52 a.m. and then the word "hi." It reads as "am I," because the "am" is capitalized and the H in "hi" is not. And this application, unfortunately, does not understand what spacing is. You know, just one of those little things. Putting spaces between things makes it easier for my software to read. Yeah, this doesn't do that, unfortunately. So I gotta rely on the good faith of you guys to help me with that. So thanks. Just a friendly reminder, folks. Hello, bro. Actually, you're wrong, Cappuccino, unless you're in a weird time zone. It's actually something like, let's see, computer time.
The time is 12:54 a.m.
12:54 in the morning. That's what time it is. So it'll be 1 a.m. in about 5.5 minutes. So, close enough, I guess. Sito. Hello, Colin. Please start with capital letters. Thank you. But hello. Hello, Epic Fish Gamer. Yeah, it might. We'll see. Thank you, Epic Fish. You're on the vacation in Florida, so you want to be able to do any WBTBs because you think it'll wake up your family. As long as you don't convert to the Florida man ways while you're down there in Florida. But Cappuccino, do you do natural wake back to beds at all? Do you do natural wake back to beds? Because that is something you could try if you just didn't get out of bed. I don't see how that would wake them up. Yeah, big fish. Nice. And I'm already caught up with the comments. Already. By the way, I reduced the slow mode to 20 seconds right now because being that it's 1 in the morning, and I think it was like, sort of 7 people initially when I started. But still not a ton of people in here, so I figured given the time, I should be able to handle the 20 seconds delay between messages. I think that's about fair. And if you're taking shorter than 20 seconds to type a message, it's probably a really, really short message anyway. So, typing questions should be longer than 20 seconds anyway. It does mess me up a bit, and it's the app's fault, but And there are certain capitals, like there are certain letters, it's just going to mess up either way, like vowels, like the letter I, for example. But with consonants, at least, if you make, if you're starting a sentence with a consonant and you capitalize it, I'll actually be able to read it without having to go character by character and or just trying to guess what that first word is. Yeah, it's the software's fault. It's unfortunate. I'm going to maybe see if they have a phone number and complain about it, because this stuff should be screen reader accessible, especially if they want people to pay for the premium version, which I will totally get because they have a lot of awesome features. Not only can I get their watermark off and possibly start monetizing videos that are on done with StreamYard, but I could also have multiple people on at once, up to 10 people, and I could stream to multiple locations, which would be amazing. So there's a lot that I could do with this platform. They just have, most of it's actually accessible, surprisingly. Most of the buttons, in fact, almost all of them, there are maybe 2 or 3 buttons that aren't labeled out of like 20. And so most of the buttons are clearly labeled with alt text, with text. You know what they do. It's really easy. It explains what it does in terms of, like, if I were to select a certain layout, it says what that layout is. Even being blind, I can kind of understand what that layout's going to be if I were to select it. It gives me some freedom, in a sense, to actually know what it is I'm doing. It's amazing. It's really helpful. Their bugs must be on steroids. Florida, it's basically summer year round in Florida. So yeah, their bugs, like their bugs are on prednisone. But yeah, Florida's cool. You're trying to do natural way back to beds, but you're terrible at it. That's something you can keep working on. Just see that as an opportunity to work on natural way back to beds. You're on vacation in Florida, which means you should be more excited in general because you're on vacation in Florida, which means, use that as sort of a schema thing, and think that, oh, since you're on vacation, it should be easier to wake up during the night and set intentions to do it. Practice, 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 practice. You could always practice. Yeah, Florida is interesting. I'll be in Florida on Friday, June 17th, 2022. For those who don't keep track of what day it is, that is, for us Americans, next Friday. So not this Friday, but a week from this Friday. Because this Friday is the 10th. And then Saturday the 18th, I will be going to Cruise Terminal 3 at Port Canaveral, where I'll be boarding Carnival's largest class ship, their XL class, the first of that class that came out last year, the Carnival Mardi Gras. I would say it's Carnival's largest ship, but I think it and Celebration and Jubilee are all either equal in size, or maybe the other two are a little bit larger. But I think they might be equal in size. But with Celebration basically coming out at the exact same time as I'm going on this cruise, it's no longer the largest ship, but it's the largest class of ship they have. Double occupancy is about 5,200 passengers, and with children on board, it can be easily over 6,000. So it's a big ship. Looking forward to it. Yeah, Claude, you said you can do gender changing using your own way you made up in a dream. Yeah, you can totally do that. You can do anything you can possibly imagine, as long as you expect the result that you want. That's basically it. You can make the rules to the game that you play. It's your own imagination is really the only limiting factor. You see that phone? I don't get it. I have no idea what that was a reference to, Colin or Sito. Axolotl. By the way, the reason I asked Ax about your name is, in the Dune series, there's this faction called the Bene Twi'leks, or the Twi'leksu, and they have what are called axolotl tanks. And I'm not sure how that's spelled, but your name just makes me think of that. And it's where they create colas, which are their sort of they can basically take the cells of someone who's died and basically regrow that person, and then they have a process where they can reawaken that person's memories. It's pretty interesting. Like the whole Dune series has some really interesting stuff in it. Do you know if listening to music can hurt your lucidity chances? I love to fall asleep to music. And sometimes I think about the lyrics. I don't know how much that would hurt my mild. Well, I'd say do mild first, I guess. You can use it as like a stabilizing force. Like if you're doing mild, you can use it to help you stay focused first. You can use it as a wild anchor. I listen to music before going to bed. I don't listen to anything as I fall asleep because I just can't really fall asleep doing that. So I don't. Um, but you could use it as a wild anchor. You could just notice it. I shouldn't really. Oh, excuse me. You shouldn't get in the way though. It shouldn't get in the way, which is what you're asking. Do you think it's hard to lucid dream if you're constantly switching houses? I can only seem to lucid dream at one house. My parents are divorced. They're still friends though. Just for everyone, that's where I am in the comments. Basically, I would say like the constant moving around maybe, but for me that's usually coinciding with travel. And when I'm moving around that coincides with travel, that also coincides with changes in my sleep schedule. My sleep patterns on vacation are usually radically different than when I am home. I am out earlier in the day at times. I am back later in the day. So I may have a sleep pattern, for example, on Tuesday, May 8th, 9th, 10th, Tuesday, May 10th of this year. I was at my Airbnb in Washington, District of Columbia. I was up at 3:30 in the morning. I got an Uber at 4:30 to Union Station. By the way, that was really expensive. They were charging peak fare pricing at 4:30 in the morning. Gosh, that was terrible. Was on an Amtrak train at 5:30 or about 5:50. It was 5:30. I was on an Amtrak train at 5:30. I was in Philadelphia before 8 o'clock. I was in Philadelphia until about 7:30 that night. And then I didn't get back to DC until after 9:30. And then it was 8:54. It was 8:54. It was around 9 to 9:30 is when we got back to DC. And didn't get back to the Airbnb until after that. I was going to Uber, but it was a lot more expensive. I ended up getting back on another way. I was really tired when I got back, and then I crashed. But my sleep schedule, so the point I made with that is when I'm traveling, my sleep schedule can be all over the place, and that can make it harder for me to do for me to get recall a little bit, kind of mess things up. My lucidity rate used to suffer really bad. Like it used to go from being basically getting 7 or more in a week, and then I would travel and get like 1 or 2. But it's gotten much better since the end of last year. But traveling has done that to me. Traveling has caused that to happen. I would say if you're moving houses and you're doing so consistently in terms of, you're going to be in a certain place at a certain time, because of the split custody and all that. Now, you could have an emotional thing that is related or some other thing. It could be you changing beds and stuff, but I don't think so. Honestly, it could be a schema-based thing, but really, if your sleep schedules are staying consistent, if that type of thing is staying consistent, you should be able to, if you're not really changing a ton of stuff, and all you're changing really is the location and the person you're with. Of course, I don't want to get into all the details about everything because that's obviously a deeply personal thing, and it's really none of my business what all goes on there. But honestly, that shouldn't hurt your chances to lucid dream if your sleep schedules and things like that are remaining consistent. Do I have tips for gaining motivation to journal or for anything really? For me, it's been like I have goals, things that I want to do. I have plans. I get enjoyment out of lucidity. So when I'm feeling like unmotivated, I think, okay, well, I can do. There's what the practice that I do and stuff. When I do mild and review things before bed, it's very simple. It's very straightforward. It doesn't take much time. So I find the time. I make the time to do it because it doesn't take a lot of time, and I know it helps me in the long run. So I do things like that, and I in terms of gaining motivation, goals I think are a really good way to have. Having things you want to do that require lucidity, I think it's a good way to go about it. So that's kind of where I stand there. I don't personally have motivation issues myself, though, so it's not this, like, I've had motivation issues for a lot of things. Don't get me wrong. Motivation issues for school, motivation issues for getting out of bed, for a lot of things. But when it comes to lucid dreaming, I don't really have that a lot. There's some nights where I may not want to do something a certain night, but I still do something, even if it's not as much as I could have done. There's always something going on, at whether it's a bare minimum or it's more. There's always something going on. That was oh yeah, you were talking about StreamYard and complaining. Yeah, by the time I got to your comment, that was so out of context that I just didn't get it because I was behind. Yeah, you forgot how it moves on for topics. Yeah, like I said, but by the time I got to that comment, that ship had sailed, my friend. Just like this comment, I took a while to get to. I'm sure. Yes, the Dune comment. That's probably why they use the term axolotl tank is for the generation. Let me see how far behind I am. Computer time.
It's 1:07 a.m.
I'm 4 minutes behind in comments. That's actually good. You guys keep me on my toes. Axolotls are known for their regenerations. That's actually kind of cool. You should consider reading the Dune series sometime. They really don't get into axolotl tanks until I want to say it comes up in Dune Messiah, comes up again maybe in Children of Dune, but it doesn't really get discussed. Like it gets discussed some again in God Emperor of Dune, and then it gets flushed out in Heretics of Dune. And now I'm reading Chapter House Dune, and then there's Hunters of Dune and Sandworms of Dune after that. It's an 8-book series. Yeah, it's long. There's a lot. The voice reader I use make acronyms hard to understand. I've been trying to avoid saying things like RN right now, or to be honest, if the acronyms are capitalized, they're easier to read. The good thing about acronyms is because they're like strings of consonants usually together, my screen reader doesn't try to pronounce them as a word, it pronounces them as the letters. Now, one way to basically guarantee that happens is to make them all caps. The only way my screen reader will pronounce a word in all caps is if that word is an actual like word that it knows. It won't just try to pronounce something else in all caps. So there might be something like, say you have a random string of vowels and consonants together as an acronym, some sort of weird thing. If it was lowercase, it may try to pronounce that differently. If it's all caps, it should just pronounce the letters, but it depends. Abbreviations and acronyms. Actually, TBH, to be honest, yeah, it's TBH, that's an abbreviation and an acronym. I mean, WBTB is an acronym for Wake Back to Bed. CIA is an acronym for Central Intelligence Agency. Oh, that's classified. No, not really. MILD is an acronym for Mnemonic Induction to Lucid Dreams. You can argue they're all abbreviations too, but yeah, that's very similar territory. Okay. Hello, Bloxy. I don't, when I do, in case, okay, so this time travel question, Claude, simple answer. I don't choose to time travel in lucid dreams. In fact, I hardly ever do it in lucid dreams. It happens in non-lucid dreams, and I usually have no control over it when it does. And the couple of times it's happened in lucid dreams, it's similar to it's basically just scene replay. So basically anything that I've done in the last, say, 2 to 4 minutes, I'll just replay a certain scene, or maybe the last 5 minutes, and I'll replay a scene and change the outcome, or change a detail, or change something based on something I've already done. That's about the extent that I've tried time traveled while lucid. And then while non-lucid, it's been stuff very similar to that. Repeating scenes over and over again a few times. I've done some of that. The most radical form of time travel was in a fictional world, and that involved going back to the beginning of the world to prevent its destruction in the end by a super powerful entity by destroying it before it could get to that level. Yeah, you think it's the bed at your mom's house, like cheaper bed, and it's in the desert. Yeah, things like that could affect certain things at your sleep, axolotl, and it could be things that you're not aware of. Like there could be things that you're not aware of that are involved. See that, and that is just a thing. That's a thing that happens. You hate waking up, Cappuccino. Stop looking for motivation. Yeah, I hate waking up. I know exactly how that feels, Cappuccino. I know exactly how that feels. Computer, time.
The time is 1:12 a.m.
Yeah, still 4 minutes behind, Claude. Goodbye, Oxalotl. Bye. Three minutes late. Okay, Cappuccino. Okay. I guess I can kind of get that. Try to delete that whatever one misspelled, whatever word you're trying to say there. I caught up. Look at how few comments there were between 108 and 112. Okay. I am caught up. Did not think that would happen. First. Yeah. You hit like the more options or button or something like that, or chat actions, and you can hit delete. I think there's something like that you can do. I know I can delete people's comments, which I hardly ever do. I think I've only ever done it a couple times when there was one person who was kind of being a jerk in a comment or being a troll or something, and I deleted like one comment. I don't really get that a lot. I have actually blocked now. Well, actually, I didn't block them specifically, like block them, but I've reported two people to YouTube for spam on my videos. One of them, someone said was a bot. Reported that there were comments that were not in English; they were in another language, and one of them was in Spanish, and I'm pretty sure was saying some. Just from the little bit of Spanish that I knew, I'm pretty sure it was saying something nasty. So that one got deleted, and there was another one in another language that I just didn't know anything about. So I report them, and then I don't see them anymore. And then YouTube Trust and Safety or YouTube whatever will do something about it. Usually, it's spam, unwanted spam or whatever, flagged. Boom, it should be gone. I mean, it should be clear. Everyone in the comments is speaking one language. This guy's speaking something else completely weird, and probably something crazy or stupid that's unrelated to the video. It's obvious that's spam. Unfortunately, people like that exist, which is really, really sad. But I mean, people want to claim to be able to make a utopian society. All you have to do is point to people like that and go, "No, not with humanity, not with these humans." Claude. Okay. Asking you about reality checks of all things, not even something I do. Okay, Claude. So first I want to ask you, why are you setting an alarm for reality checks? And then instead of just asking yourself like, where are you doing before, what were you doing, and how'd you get there? Actually consider why are you dreaming? And then think about what you were doing since you last woke up. Like anything out of place, any anomalies, anything unusual in any way at all. And it could be something that actually happens. For example, something that is unusual. Me being in a car that my family doesn't own for several hours. That's unusual. Well, my dad's car got into an accident and we have a rental car. So that is something that happens. If we go up to my doctor's appointments, they're about an hour away each way. So yes, that is something that would happen. That's unusual. That is technically a dream sign. Something like that is a dream sign. It is out of place. Going to the local amusement park for the first time in the season, that happened last Thursday. And the longest line time I had was 10 minutes. And I was getting re-rides on rides in under 5 minutes that would sometimes have minimum 20 to 30 minute waits and sometimes an hour and a half. That's a dream sign. Being able to re-ride a ride that is very popular without having to get off at the end of the day, that's a dream sign. So there are things like that can be dream signs. Really happened. I was awake. I did those things. Yet they were still dream signs. They're still out of place. They were not normal for that particular, thing that my particular experience at that location in the past. I would usually experience long wait times and things like that. Those experiences were abnormal. They were unusual. Those would qualify as dream signs. Now, being using criticality, you want to recognize when something's out of place and question, okay, can I be dreaming right now? And then you can try to test to see if you are dreaming. Like, what I would probably try to do is manipulate the laws of physics because that's fun. Control what I'm doing with my mind. I'm really good at expectation control and decision control now. I've gotten really, really good at being able to expect something to happen, especially simple things. So I could do something like that and actually test in a more eclectic way than what people consider reality checks. If you're gonna do reality checks at all as a method of testing, never just do one because one can fail. In fact, I have read several stories about people doing reality checks and they'll do one reality check in a dream. They've already found a dream sign. They're already using proper criticality. Now, the thing is, of course, reality checks don't get you lucid. Reality checks, if used in a dream, can confirm lucidity, but they don't actually get you lucid. What gets you lucid is the actual criticality behind it. So someone was noticing something out of place. They had long hair. That wasn't actually something they had. All right, so they were being critical in a dream. I don't remember their name, but they were on Discord in the past 3 to 4 days, I think. So they were critical of that. But then they tried to do a nose plug reality check, and it didn't work. Right? They did one reality check. It didn't work. And so they trusted that and then tried to reason away what was actually happening instead of looking at the thing that was not appropriate for basically their whole life and going, hey, that's just out of place. Then they had a second dream sign that they'd missed. It was them taking LSD in the dream. It's like they'd never done that before. So there's a dream sign they missed after a dream sign they actually caught, and failing the reality check and then trusting trusting the reality check kind of caused them to lose lucidity, to not be lucid. So if you're going to do reality checks at all, do at least 3 of 3 different types. Never just trust one result because they can fail, and always be critical of whether or not you're dreaming. Don't be habitual about it. Always be critical and try to look for dream signs. Try to look for anything out of place or unusual in any way. All right, there's my criticality spiel for the day. I hope people found that useful. Next. Your internet isn't great. I am so sorry to hear that, Cappuccino. May your internet rest in peace. What do I recommend, Jelly, that you do in a lucid dream? You're kind of running out of ideas, so just asking me. Okay, so what you can do is you can go to the Star Wars universe, go to the planet Coruscant, and go down to the lower levels where the scum and villainy of the trillion-person population of that planet live, and all try to kill each other on a daily basis and don't have any money. And you can go there and fight your way through those hordes of people. And then you can go up to the surface where all the bourgeois are, where all the rich people are. You can go break into some rich hotels, maybe steal an airspeeder, maybe pull an Anakin Skywalker and climb out of a turbo lift into a airspeeder garage at the Republic Senate complex, steal an airspeeder, go after some bounty hunters. You could do something like that. I mean, I'm into Star Wars, but hey, just saying. I'm also into Star Trek. You can beam yourself aboard the USS Enterprise D, NCC 1701D, Galaxy-class starship, captained by Jean-Luc Picard, or you can beam yourself aboard the USS Defiant, captained by either Benjamin Sisko or Jadzia Dax, because Jadzia is better than Ezri. So hey, just saying, Jadzia Dax is better than Ezri Dax. No, not gonna lie. All right, well, there's my Star Trek spiel for the day. But anything creative, anything that's just like out there or fun, you go into a TV show or movie that you like, or just try to put yourself in the moment in an experience that's enjoyable, using your surroundings for enjoyment. You could just, again, teleport yourself into a thing you would call enjoyable. Try to explore something that you don't know about and just see what your mind comes up with. I mean, all those things can be fun. So you set an RC alarm because you can forget about it. It's happened to you a lot. Well, I will say intention is a good thing, like trying to intend to be critical, because working on intention can, of course, have that extra benefit of using intention to get lucid as well. So, intention's a good thing to work on. And I do recommend baby steps with intention. You can start small with very simple things over very short durations of time, and then work your way up to something bigger. Thank you, Cappuccino. I appreciate it. Computer, time.
It's 1:21 a.m.
1:21 a.m. confirmed. I'm approximately 4 minutes behind. Cappuccino giving advice. That's good advice, I must say. And boom, just like that, I'm caught up to 120, between 113 and 120. Never thought of going to different universes? We only discussed PRs on Dream Cafe. Like, what is it? Cappuccino, Claude, Colin, help me out here. What is it, like at least once a day PRs come up? But they do come up quite a bit, Jelly. We discussed PRs, persistent realms, which is basically us going to other universes. Either stuff that people have stumbled into and decided to stay permanent with, persistent with, or try to keep persistent. Things that people have physically created. I have one that I've created. There are various things. My pleasure, Claude. Thank you so much for being here. I really enjoy helping you out, and I'm glad that I can do so. So thank you so much. I officially caught up to all the comments. I can't believe it. It's crazy. You know, I should just demonstrate as doing the Alexa escape rooms on one of my live stream. They have escape rooms on Alexa, and I can speed run them like the Dickens. And I should just demonstrate doing that sometime, because I could speed run one that you can take people well over an hour to do. I did it in under an hour, and I finished, and I think that 80 something percent of players, or 70 something percent. I finished pretty high, and then I can repeat them and do them in 8 minutes or less, and I finished better than 100% of players with that time. Yeah, PRs are awesome. Definitely nerd out about them. PRs are cool. You went to the back rooms at Lucid Dream. Why is that a horrible idea? Just make it whatever you want. Go invade the back rooms, kill all the evil entities in the back rooms, and then basically find all the humans who want to leave and teleport them away and free them. Boom, problem solved. I mean, you could go into the back rooms as like a superhero, free all the humans who get there by accident, defeat all the evil creatures, make something like level 2 habitable for humans. I mean, there's just so many things you could do in there. Like, I don't know much about the lore in there at all, like just a little bit, but I do know that there's like a lot of positive good that you could do in there for the people that are trapped in there in your dreams. For the dream characters, you could just go in there and have a lot of fun. Oh, lol, cappuccino. By the way, someone did just ping me or DM me on either Dream Cafe or Discord DMs. I will say when I'm live streaming, I do not check those. Especially if I'm dealing with an active audience, I do not check those. My audience always comes first. Plan to create an LD profile to save progress in an LD. A character. I will do things and live fully as. Lucid dreams are truly good backrooms. They make dreams come true. The way you said that, like a profile, like a computer. I can do automated computer voices. I at least I have a high opinion of myself when it comes to automated voices. I feel like I can do good automated voices. I can mimic those that already exist, if ones that I know. I can mimic the way my Alexa sounds because she talks a lot like this, even though I'm a guy. Yes, tell me that doesn't sound at all like Alexa. I mean, it does. Let's be honest. Yeah, I have a little too much fun doing that sometimes. And there, another beep on my Discord. I will check those eventually. First, we are live. 34 minutes, 33 seconds. That was a few seconds ago. 5 people watching. Pretty good for like 2:30, like 1:30 in the morning. 1:26. That's close enough. Now declare war on the moon next time's in the back rooms while lucid. That's hilarious, Jilly. So Skyfall, I said a while ago I had a problem with Dream Recall, says Cappuccino. Turns out I don't. I have a problem with waking up in the morning and dream delving. Also, very quality Alexa. Thank you. Anyway, that one wasn't as good, but yeah, I get the idea. I can help you with dream delving. You just have to remember to do it when you wake up. Would you like to get a reminder to dream delve? But yeah, dream delving is amazing. We've been over this before, I'm sure. But setting intentions. I'm sure this has come up. This has been discussed. Is this an intention issue, as in you are not remembering to do it, or is this a motivation issue? You're remembering, but you're just not doing it. Cool. March. So when the word March was read as Mar-CH by my stream reader, just to give you guys an idea of how words in all caps can be read. Skyfall, Alexa Dream. Yeah. You're like a potato in the morning, so that's why maybe unpotatoing yourself. But honestly, delving is a very potato thing. You just stay in the position you woke up in. You don't actually get out of bed, and you just think about what you were doing. Oh my god. I mean, delving is like one of the more potato things you can do for lucid dreaming. The whole point is that you're not actually getting up and getting out of bed. Like, I mean, think about it that way. Think about it. Delving is a very potato thing to do. So when you're potato in the morning and you're potato getting up, just stay potato in the bed and delve like a potato. Just think about what you're last doing like a potato. And, think about your most recent potato experiences and your potato dreams. And just do everything like that, like a potato. But just don't get eaten like a potato. Okay, that's enough potato there. But, very, very spud, my friend. I don't know. But yeah, lucid daydreaming is kind of cool. I actually, I don't think I can get to the point where lucid daydreaming, but my visualization skills have been good, and have been good for a very long time. Here's the thing, though. I'm blind. I have good visualization skills. All 5 senses. Actually, auditory is number 1. I can make like very low level visuals if I really want to, which I actually do. I can make those. I actually did an entire thing, and I disciplined myself. Not disciplined myself, but like, I was disciplined while doing this, and I think it was last night before. It was last night before I went to bed. What I did is I play this game called Phoenix Rising. For those of you who are not aware of what that is, which is everyone here, I am sure, it is a Star Trek MUD. MUD, it stands for multi-user dungeon, or multi-user whatever experience. Online, it's a weird. They have like different letter classifications. But basically, what it is, it's an online text game that people can play together. And they have a lot of coded stuff and objects and things. Well, ours is a Star Trek based game. We're all based on the ship USS Phoenix. So I decided to imagine a setting, since I know the ship very well, the whole layout. I might end up making a PR based on this game, just because of how well I know the material and the coded systems and everything behind how the systems work. I know them well enough to teach them to people, to the point where I can make my own PR. So I boarded our Griffin class runabout USS Orinoco, which is set up in its tactical configuration. It is a slipstream runabout. Slipstream travels at warp 9.9999, or 2,700,000 times the speed of light. And I did a run from Bajor to Earth Space Dock to pick up a new crew member. I created a name for her, Lieutenant Bartell. And I imagined the whole thing, imagined audio, imagined tactile, imagined the way things would go. And you kind of use telepathy for the interface, just imagining how the interface would look. And I kept it stable. I didn't lose focus of it. I kept it going. And I kept that visualization stable for at least 10 minutes. 15 minutes. I did a whole round trip where I kind of went through everything. It was pretty fun, actually. So had a lot of fun doing that. I can visualize things like that pretty well. In fact, I might try doing that as sort of a wild thing tonight or tomorrow. I might actually go back into something like that because I can make it pretty immersive. That's hilarious, Claude. Yeah, although only do it in a voice chat because then I'll actually respond like Alexa if you do it in a voice chat. That's hilarious. But yeah. But I can immerse myself in that world really easily and really quickly. And plus, since I know the systems really well and how they work and where things are, and the ship is so detailed in layout, I can kind of make my own layout for it and how everything works. I even took it all the way to the end of once I went back and landed on the ship and handled everything from all that. I imagine going up to the bridge using the turbo lift, where based on the ship's descriptions, all the rooms, since all text-based, rooms have descriptions to give you an idea of their layouts. So I was in the bridge, and I have a lot of like the basic ideas of the different rooms memorized enough. So I went into the bridge. I knew where the tactical station would be, which is my station because I'm chief security and tactical on the ship. It's actually in the aft bulkhead near the turbo lifts. So that's where my station was. So I went over there and checked on some things. It was actually pretty fun. I had a good time doing that as a visualization exercise, and I can make it immersive. So I may actually use that as a wild anchor tonight, just for fun. Ugh. You're not being personally attacked, Cappuccino. I'm just trying to help you weaponize your potato self. So you suck doing anything in the morning at all? Well, that's the whole thing with delving is that you don't have to do anything except think. That's all you have to do. It's in the mind. What could possibly be truly impossible in lucid dreams, influencing what can be truly impossible in dreams, influencing the waking world in any significant way. Physical interactions, if possible at all, would be extremely limited because generally you can't really move your body in that state. You could use your eyes for communications, not really talk to people. You can't really influence anything outside of you. So stuff like that would be very limited. In terms of impossible, doing a lot of things in the waking reality would be basically impossible. Have I been enjoying a show I haven't yet gotten into? You don't know how I watch shows, do you? So basically, especially with new stuff, the way I watch TV show is I use a site called audiovault.net. That is for blind people and blind people only because there's no video hosted on site. And the way it works is that someone will donate to the Audio Vault, and they have movies and TV shows. Now, when it comes to older shows and older movies, it can be really spotty. Like they'll have some things, but they won't have others. But anything made after a certain time, they basically have it. All the new shows on all the streaming platforms, they have it. So in this case, I was just watching actually an older show. I've been watching the show Eureka. By the way, if you don't know the show Eureka, it's hilarious. It's really fun. Recommend it to anybody who's interested in that kind of stuff. Sci-fi, futuristic, funny, and enjoyable. Anyway, so with the new show, like Strange New Worlds, which I'm not sure if I'm going to get into or not, basically the way it works is after a full season has been completed on the stream platform, they will get access to a zip file with MP3s for each episode. And those files will be available for download for a season. So you download a zip file for the season, and you download the files for each episode, and they're audio described. So I have the audio description, the actual official ones that were made. And they get that for movies too. Some people will make their own for shows that don't have audio description. I just learned this recently when I got Eureka. It's an older show. It's from the mid-2000s. And those shows didn't have audio description back then. People had to go back and add that. So somebody took the time to go through and make TTS, text-to-speech audio descriptions for that series and put it online for people to download. And that's been done with a lot of shows, like different ones, and it's kind of cool. Well, you can't. Cappuccino, like when you say like see a new color, it would be how you would expect it to be. You can see something like that you wouldn't really have imagined on your own, possibly, but it would just be something really weird or creepy or cool or interesting or out there or something you can't quite comprehend. But it wouldn't be a truly new color because that wouldn't physically exist. But it would just be something that you kind of expect, or that would be close to something you might expect. It would be, not physically possible. Yeah, better and vivid. Yeah, lucid dreaming is amazing. We are at 1:35. Computer time.
The time is 1:37 a.m.
And I'm about caught up. Connie. Hi, Skyfall. I noticed that for me, dialogue in lucid dreams is more difficult to remember than actions. Is that the same for me? For me, it's, and just in general, I think for a lot of people, specific details, if they're not important, can be more difficult to remember than general plot points. Now, I can remember certain specific dialogue if it's important. I can remember talking to people, and like I can remember a lot, certain events. If it's within a scene, I remember well. Like say there's scenes in the dream I don't remember well at all, or it's really vague. And there's a scene I remember well. If I'm paying attention to the dialogue, I can remember it. Like there were scenes where I was listening to something that was from a political person, in one of the dreams this morning. I wasn't paying a lot of attention to that dialogue, so I didn't remember it. But I was on a train in the New York subway. I was on a Brooklyn College Flatbush Avenue bound number 2 train in Manhattan heading into Brooklyn. And it had the seating configuration of the DC Metro with the seat materials of the Philadelphia Subway Market Frankfurt line. And then someone asked me what time it was, and it was like a blip. Then I was in a classroom for a second, then I was back on the train, and I answered with 11:29 in the morning. Got lucid. And when I was lucid, I decided to start quoting the English versions of the announcements from the Mozami Super Express on the Samyo and Tokaido Shinkansen from Hakata to Tokyo. So I started quoting that with a British accent. And I remember everything I said. I was like, welcome to the Shinkansen. This is a Mozami Super Express bound for Tokyo. We'll be stopping at Kokura, Shinyamaguchi, Hiroshima, Fukuyama, Okayama, Shin-Kobe, Shin-Osaka, Kyoto, Nagoya, Shin-Yokohama, and Shinagawa stations before arriving at the Tokyo terminal. And while I was doing that, I was making the train accelerate more rapidly. It took me a couple of attempts. And then after I did that, the seating configuration changed. Not the actual configuration, but the car became outdoor, which didn't make sense because, well, the train just accelerated to much higher speeds because it's now running on a Shinkansen line, and those move at about 200 miles an hour, so it doesn't make any sense to be outside. Anyway, what I just quoted for you actually is pretty much verbatim what it would sound like if you were actually listening to the English announcements on the exact train that I mentioned. Oh, you don't apologize for spamming my chat. You don't spam. Spam is stuff that's not important, relevant, or useful in any way, shape, or form to me. That's what spam is. You're not a spammer, Cappuccino. Thank you for showing up. Have a good night, my friend. Have a good night. I'm not arrogant, but I always have original plans of lucid dreaming. Like creating my own character. Be second identity, I even do collective. I'm just... Yeah, well, I've created characters. Like I have a character in my PR that's based on me, but I've created a little bit of a backstory for that character. The character's the Regent Governor of Zordonia, and that makes him the commander of the Zordonian Defense Force, which the ZSS Star Horizons is the flagship of. So certain things like that. Thank you, Connie. Appreciate it. Skyfall Alexa Dreamer, what can I help you with? Mark Denver! That is a name I don't remember if I've heard, but if I have, it's been a long time. Hello. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining at 1:40 in the morning. For me, I don't know what time it is for you. Probably not 1:40 in the morning. But hey, I'm just here having fun, helping people, because that's what I like doing. Mark Denver Sereno. Skyfall, it's me from the Dream Cafe. How can I pair mild with way back to bed? Because it's been difficult. I wake up to it prior to alarm 20 minutes. That's great. That means you have an intention that's waking you up. That's perfect. That's actually better than an alarm. Let's start with this, okay? REM, when you're doing mild, REM is irrelevant. Tracking REM is irrelevant. Waking up naturally is superior to waking up with alarms, and that's for any wake back to beds. In fact, you can wake up by intention, which is exactly what you were doing without even realizing it. You were waking up by intention. And the reason that you're waking up by intention is you set an alarm to wake yourself up. Now, think about this for a minute. When you set an alarm to wake yourself up, you have decided that you are going to wake up at a certain time. You made a decision to do that. Now, what is an intention? An intention is, as I describe it, a present decision to perform a future action associated with some type of trigger. In this case, you set an alarm for a specific time. This is a temporal intention. A certain time is a trigger, sometime during the night. Your intention is to wake up. That's the decision that you made. So when you wake up before the alarm going off, you are fulfilling your intention. That's great. Perfect. Yeah, REM sleep is not important, like actually for mild in particular, but just in general, because you can dream in non-REM. There's no real ideal time, like any time can do. In fact, multiple times throughout the night. I wake naturally multiple times every night. It's a great thing. Actually, it's really useful because I can weaponize those different wakings and use them for lucid dreaming. So multiple wakings is actually cool. But anyway, I would ask you now that I've gone through that. It's not actually difficult. Look, sounds like for you, waking up before your alarm is actually a good thing. You're waking up naturally instead of being startled by an alarm. That means you're likely going to have better dream recall. It's easier to delve when you're doing it that way. You can get better dream recall, which is really important for mild. Now that we've discussed this, I would like to ask you, Mark Denver Serena, if you could please tell me how you are doing mild, what mild guide you are following, and how you're doing it, please. Thank you. In the meantime, I'm going to answer other questions, but please reply to that, and I will get back to you as soon as you reply. I'm actually the voice behind Alexa. You know, the thing is, though, Connie, if I was the voice behind Alexa, I would actually be getting paid. And getting paid is a really awesome thing. Do you know how awesome it would be to get paid as a voice actor? Like, just getting paid. Like, just think about it. Getting paid. Getting paid is awesome. Yeah, no, Amazon doesn't pay me jack. I pay Amazon. That sucks. But no, I wish, right? Anyway, this is 1:45 in the morning. This is me cutting up and having fun. I love it. Skyfall Alexa Dreamer. My sleep schedule sometimes varies, but can be from 2 a.m. or later until sometime between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. I usually get up when there is food. Yeah. But yeah, you're getting natural awakenings, which is awesome. But yeah, I am curious how you're actually doing mild. Let me try to pronounce this name. Cruisin Comet 01. No, Cruisin Comet. I have a question. I have a question. When I do use your mild guide, I lose motivation. Almost, I don't know really. My thoughts start thinking of other stuff and lose focus quite quickly doing mild. Any tips? Yes. If you're losing focus, mental focus, like when you're doing it, that happens all the time. Happens to me all the time. My best recommendations are: one, sit up. Do it sitting up. Because if you're sitting up, it's going to be more difficult for you to, when your mind is losing focus like that, that is a sign that you're falling asleep. That's like kind of what falling asleep mind is like, losing focus and just losing track of things and having wandering and random thoughts like that. Sitting up helps. It helps you with that. Helps you stay more alert, more aware. I definitely recommend doing that for mild. Also, there are a couple other things you can do at the same time. Now, of course, these other things generally you would only do if you're in a room by yourself. So I do what I call vocalizing. I actually do this a lot when I'm doing mild because I also mild while recording my dream journal at times. Basically, I just talk out loud with what I'm imagining. I'm imagining something and I'm describing it out loud. So what I'm doing at the same time is I'm talking. So I'm making myself alert that way, and then I'm also hearing what I'm saying, which means I have a kind of a counterpoint to what I'm imagining, and it's keeping my mind on track. There's much less room for intrusive thoughts when what I'm actually listening to is me describing myself, like me describing the dreams that I'm having while imagining them. There's much less room for an intrusive thought when that's my stimulus, and that's what I'm experiencing. So those are kind of things I recommend there for Cruise and Comet. That is one nice name, gotta say. Jelly, that's hilarious. You know the irony, Jelly, Mr. Pepperoni Pizza with stuffed crust. Tonight during Jeopardy, one of the two Jeopardies I watched, I heard an advertisement for Papa John's pepperoni stuffed crust pizza. No, Mark Denver Sereno. I actually talked for like several minutes about you. Computer time.
It's 1:47 a.m.
Let me verify that I can still be heard. Hold up. Live 55. Okay. I'm live. Good. I just wanted to double check that I was live. Give me 1 second to reorient myself, okay? Give me 1 second. Give me a second. Okay. So Mark Denver Sereno, I was asking how you're doing mild. That was the question. Because I'm telling you that getting natural awakenings are better than alarm awakenings. I would do mild before bed and I would do it during awakenings. Natural awakenings are better than alarms. So if you're naturally waking up before an alarm is going off, that is great. That is perfect. But Mark Denver Sereno, please, I was asking you how you're doing mild, that if you can please respond with like how you're actually doing the technique, please. Thank you. Being blind is not boring. Being blind is cool. I mean, I have a lot of computer technology that is available to me that allows me to use the computer and do things with the world that I otherwise wouldn't be able to do. I can explore without being bombarded with constant ads and crap. I can ride rides without seeing what's coming. That's not boring. I enjoy music. I enjoy books. I can imagine my own worlds. Now, being blind is not boring. It's definitely unusual. I mean, like, think about it. There's like, I'd say less than 1% of the people are blind, so it's definitely unusual. But no, I wouldn't say it's boring. Nah. Cruise and Comet, you're cool. My pleasure, Cruise and Comet. Not a problem. My screen reader doesn't pronounce it right. I had to go through character by character and spell it to try to pronounce it. But yeah, my pleasure. I'm also going cruising in a couple of weeks. So a week from Saturday, a week and a half, I'll be on a cruise ship. So I will be cruising. Oh, you're doing it using my guide. Excellent. Well, let's move on then. So we discussed your wake back to beds. I was saying that doing them naturally, if you can, as in like waking up without an alarm, is amazing. Like if you keep setting an alarm to help you set that intention and you keep waking up before it, that's perfect. So then when you wake up, just turn the alarm off and go through, make sure you're getting recall, and then do the technique. Now, I would say recall is important. If you haven't yet, I would please go read the recall guide in Lucid FAQ in Dream Cafe. It's useful. Would totally recommend you do that. Dream recall is one of the most important things for lucid dreaming. There's several things you can do for dream recall. It's not just dream journaling. And if you're not remembering at least 1 to 3 dreams in a night, then there is room for a good bit of improvement. In terms of maximum dream recall, if you're sleeping around 8 hours, you would dream minimum 5 to 6 times a night. So there is a lot to get there. But yeah, if you have any questions also about my mild guide, Mark David Cerno, please ask. I mean, I am right here. Please ask if you have any questions about it. If there's something you don't understand, use the resources available to you. That includes us. That includes people. Please ask us. Okay. You actually forgot Mark Davis, Denver Center. You keep saying that. You forgot imagining getting lucid, or actually re-scripting your dreams to imagining being lucid. You forgot that. And what you would do if you were lucid. You forgot that. Well, thanks, Claude. I appreciate you showing up to my streams. Anyone showing up to my streams from the United States is freaking amazing. Anyone showing up to my dreams from Western Europe is freaking amazing. Anyone showing up to my dreams from South America, Western Africa is freaking amazing. And I say that because it's 2 in the morning in the US, 2, 1, 12, or 11 at night. It's like 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning in Western Europe and Africa. And it's about the same time in South America that is here in the US. Maybe 1 hour later. Like if you're in Brazil, it's like 3 in the morning. Or if you're in the Caribbean. So yeah, great for those folks. I mean, if you're up that late watching my live stream, that's awesome. For you Asian and Australian folks, where it's like this like really chill middle of the afternoon, I'm really glad that you aren't busy with school or work and that you have the time to watch. That's so awesome. Really appreciate it. Recall 4 dreams on average. It's amazing. That's good recall. That's right up there. That's high middle level. 5 to 6 is like the top level. You're at the higher end of the middle level. That is solid recall. That is good workable recall. That's amazing. If you're getting that consistently, that is great. That's good. Wolf Soul, hello, welcome. You made it. Welcome. And now your comment is there for everyone to see whenever they watch this part of the stream. My pleasure, Mark Davis Turner. Like I said, if you have any questions about my guide, please ask. Remember, how long should a mild session be? Okay, here we go. A mild cycle, rather. I don't know if you're talking about like a cycle. A cycle is as long as the dream you're using, and that combined with when you're re-scripting it and imagining getting lucid, and what you're doing. All of that together is one cycle. That's dependent on the length of the dream that you use. So that can really fluctuate. How long should you do mild for? About 15 to 20 minutes. Do that before bed. Do it during way back to bed. Again, I would reread the guide as well, because I think you may have misinterpreted or just maybe misunderstood a couple of steps. And if you have any questions about those, please, we'll be happy to answer. Lucid dreams feel like real life. Not exactly like real life, but close to it. Yeah, they can. Now here's the thing, they don't have to. People will confuse. Here's a pitfall, actually. I'm going to leave this up here for a minute. Here's a pitfall for introductory lucid dreamers. If you're a beginner and you have the patience to make it 50-ish minutes into a live stream, congratulations, for starters. Next, for seconders, one of the most common pitfalls is people assume that a lucid dream means some sort of level of vividness or detail. And they'll ignore actual lucid dreams that didn't have that. But like, I knew I was dreaming, but it just didn't feel like it wasn't very vivid, so it wasn't a lucid dream. I was like, no, that's lucid. So this thing, lucid dreaming isn't a certain level of vividness. Now, if you had asked Claude, instead of do lucid dreams feel like real life, can lucid dreams feel like real life or better? The answer to that would be yes, all the time. Can. Do, well, yeah, it really depends. Do is a matter of general fact or generalization, whereas can is a matter of possibility. It's all about the word choice there, my friend. And I do think English, I think you said, is not your first language, so I totally understand that. Totally. But yeah, basically what you were asking is, are lucid dreams like real life? They can be. They're not always. And it really depends. It depends on what's going on, depends on your recall, it depends on your expectations, schema, things, all those types of things. But can they? Yes. That answer will always be yes. I do not know what that S asterisk was, and I also don't care. School just ended here in Australia. I feel sorry for Jakova, mate, because Jakova's got TAFE, and TAFE doesn't in, TAFE chafes. It doesn't end for a while. Anyway, that's my terrible Australian accent for the day. I think about 10 seconds is about as long as the average person can stand hearing that. But anyway, Jakova does have TAFE. He said so in Dream Cafe a little bit ago, and from what I remember, they usually keep him pretty late, so he'll be there for a while. Now that I've caught up with comments, computer, what is the time in Sydney, Australia?
In Sydney, it's 3:57 p.m.
Yeah, I can imagine the school just ended over there. You middle out of the afternoon types. All right, 3:57. That means it is 1:57 over here, which means it's almost 2 in the morning, which means I will likely be ending this very soon. It has been a wild ride. It's been a fun wild ride. It's been enjoyable, and I enjoyed having you guys around. So thank you guys for being around. And I wish you all the best. Any final comments? Any final questions? Mr. Mark Denver Sereno, do you have any mild questions before I leave? Do you have any questions about the process, about the actual technique before we go? That's awesome, Jelly Eat. That is awesome. Thank you very much, Claude. I appreciate the enthusiasm and the support. I do. You never wake up to fully alarm, Wolfsoul. You try vibrating alarms and everything. Any idea what it could be? Not really sure. But do you try intention and natural waking? Do you try that? I take too long in imagining getting lucid. Is that fine? I don't know what you mean by you take too long in doing that, but I wouldn't spend a ton of time on that. Like going so far to the point that you're not thinking much about your dreams themselves or the dreams you're using. I wouldn't go so far. I might do that like a couple of minutes for each cycle, like maybe 2 to 5 minutes max, 5 minutes max. Sometimes 2 minutes, sometimes a little less depending on the dream. But I wouldn't lose sight of the dream that I'm rescripting to make whatever that experience is. So there is also that as well. But I don't know if you mean by take too long. Like if you're having trouble focusing and doing stuff, then I would do it sitting up. Like I told, was it Cappuccino earlier? Was it Cappuccino or somebody else? It was somebody else, I think. Or maybe it was, no, actually it wasn't. I can't remember. Somebody I told earlier to do it sitting up and to vocalize. There was somebody in here. When's my next stream? Enjoyed it for a couple minutes. You're here. My next stream, no idea. It could be as early as Wednesday, depending on a particular person I want to interview and have on in Chalk. Or it could be Saturday. Like, honestly, no idea. That really depends. I don't always plan these things well in advance. The only ones I've planned in advance were kind of like the one I did in DC. I planned that at a very specific time because I wanted to be at a very specific location at a very specific time when I streamed from Washington, DC. I was, by the way, the interview live stream #1 in the interview series with Sensei Secrets. I really need to get that playlist going, and I'm going to do that. The Skyfall's interviews playlist will become a thing. I'll get there soon enough. Freddy Fred. Hello. Connie, you are a lot like me. You experience multiple awakenings during the night. Guess what? So do I. Welcome to the club, mate. You shouldn't have any problem doing lucid dreaming techniques at night. I mean, just weaponize those awakenings you get. Okay. Hello, everyone. All right, so since we are still going, guys, we have a heckler. And you know what we do with hecklers, right? It is time for public shaming. We are going to publicly shame a heckler because hecklers are, like this guy, are a-holes. A-holes deserve very little to no respect. So you're going to come into someone's live stream and be an a-hole, you're going to get publicly shamed. Freddy Fred, I am talking to you. You are an a-hole. If I ever find you on one of the Discord servers, I will likely ban you because I'm an admin. So you're an a-hole. Comment actions. Block user. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. But yeah. Any ideas on falling asleep faster? Also, could I comprehend and understand your English properly? Do you sometimes doubt about it personally? Yes, Claude. I can actually comprehend you just fine. I just had to publicly shame that troll and block him real quick. He had it coming. So yeah, that guy had it coming. Actually calling me fake news. That's hilarious. That guy, that's hilarious. Okay. I feel like a comedian getting heckled. Anyway, sorry, Claude. Yes, I can understand what you're saying. We've been able to communicate pretty well. I think there are a few words that maybe cause a misinterpretation issue, but those are few and far between. I think for the most part, we communicate pretty well. So yes, your English is good. I don't want you being anxious about your English. I can understand you well enough, and I'm pretty good about trying to understand what people mean too. So I'm usually pretty good at that. So yeah, you have nothing to worry about, Claude. You're doing great. That's awesome. But not 20 minutes stream about my favorite. You know, Delia, I am very gratified by that. Thank you so much. I'm very gratified by that. Thank you. Well, also, I don't think the stream about your favorite video game engages the audience to the extent that I do. I mean, this is all about audience engagement. These streams don't exist without audience engagement. If people aren't asking questions and being involved, there's nothing going on. Is it true that 2 weeks are all that's needed to get results? No. This is skill training. In fact, we usually recommend that people practice for a minimum of a month of daily consistent practice with whatever technique they're using. That's just before switching techniques. It could take less than that to get results. It could take more than that to get results. It could take that to get results. I mean, people are different. That's the thing. It's like if you were learning an instrument or learning a sport. It's like that. People are different. People are just going to progress at different ways. It's biology. It's chemistry. It's everything else. Mental states. A lot of different factors. Some of them controllable. Some of them not so much. That go into your ability to learn things and to develop skills. Everyone progresses at a different rate. That's nothing good or bad specifically. It's just different. And so it may take you, 1 day, 2, 3, 4 days to get your first lucid dream, or it could take you 4 months. Like, it really depends on the person. I'd say average is 2 weeks to a month. I'd say it's about average. That's why we generally recommend minimum daily practice for a minimum of a month with techniques. With the same technique, mind you, not switching between them. Lightsabers for the win. Yes, I like Wake Back to Beds too. Connie, you're awesome. Yep, just showing that one. Cruising comment. How do I set intention? I understand deep down that it's a decision. I don't know. Also, how many times should I wake back to bed? So an intention is a present decision to perform a future action associated with some form of a trigger. You decide to do something. That something is associated with something else. When that something else happens, you remember the thing you wanted to do. In this case, if you're doing mild, for example, you're associating, your intention is, your decision is to know you're dreaming, to recognize you're dreaming, to realize you're dreaming, something like that. To recognize, realize that you're dreaming, to become lucid, to realize that you're dreaming. All right? And when do you want to do this? You want to do this while you're dreaming, obviously, because that's what lucidity is knowing you're dreaming while you're dreaming. So you want to realize that you're dreaming while you are dreaming. So what you're doing with that intention is you're associating that decision to realize or recognize that you are dreaming with your dreams. That's why you're imagining previous dreams. That's why you're rescripting previous dreams. That's why you're engaging so much with your dreams and finding dream signs. That's why you're doing all these things. You're associating that decision, that intention, something you really want to do with your dreams. The point of that is that when you are dreaming, part of you that is able to recognize that you may not be aware of at that moment, your intention will be triggered. You will remember that your intention to recognize that you're dreaming. It will trigger you to actually recognize that you're in a dream. That's how intentions work. I mean, at least for lucid dreaming. But in a simple way, so let's do something a little bit more simple, like that is probably easier to comprehend. All right. So you decide that tomorrow at 8 a.m. you're going to get up. You set an alarm for 8 a.m. That's a form of an intention. Your alarm goes off. You remember that you wanted to get up at 8 a.m. All right. Well, how about something else? Let's see. You wanted to go to your friend's house tomorrow at 2 p.m. or 1400 hours if you use 24-hour time. All right. Well, tomorrow comes around. Now, tomorrow is whatever tomorrow is. It's Wednesday for all of us now. And 2 p.m. rolls around, or 1400. And you realize it's 14 or 2, and you remember that you wanted to go to your friend's house. Then so you go to your friend's house. That's an intention. At its core, cruising comment, an intention is a decision. And the way you fulfill an intention, work with your prospective memory, which is your future memory, your task memory. The way you work with that is, the more important something is to you, the more important it is to you, the more likely you are to remember it. And you remember it by it being associated with a trigger. You recognize that like the trigger happens, you remember the decision. That's how intentions work. So yeah, the more important it is, like for example, there was an intention I had to clock out at 3:30 p.m. for my job. I left my phone upstairs to go downstairs, talk to my grandmother who's visiting. All the time I was down there, I kept thinking about needing to clock out at 3:30. Why? Because I didn't have my phone. I couldn't tell the time. I knew it was something that was important I had to do. That's a very strong intention. But yeah, how many times should you wake back to bed? Let's get over to that for a minute. As many as you feel comfortable with. You can wake up, I would say, anytime between 90 minutes after you fall asleep. That's 1.5 hours after you fall asleep, or 90 minutes before you wake up. That's 1.5 hours before you wake up. Any time in there is fair game for wake back to bed. That's sort of what I'd recommend. Any time in there. You can do it as many times as you want. I wouldn't say more than 6. If you're sleeping like 8 hours, I wouldn't say more than 6. But, if you want to do 2 or 3, yeah, go for it. Yeah, well, so sometimes they're just a-holes who need to be treated like the scum that they are for going into someone's live stream and being an absolute jerk. And there are other words I would use to describe them, but this is PG. And I'm not going to use those words here. Yes, Freddy Fred was blocked. That guy will not be bothering me anytime soon. Oh yeah, Connie, Freddy will shut up for a lot more than a sec. He's been blocked from my channel. That a-hole isn't going to be saying a damn thing anytime soon. I can say whatever I want about him for being an a-hole. Yeah, I guess it sounds funny, Claude. I'm just not using the actual terms for things because I don't want to get my videos censored by YouTube. And just to keep a family-friendly environment, I try to make my channel that. Whoop. Thank you, Mark Denver, Sereno. After he said he was joking, he kind of deserved that. For calling out like that in the first place and trying to troll me in the middle of a live stream, he deserves that. If you're gonna troll me, that's already bad. I don't like trolling. Not a fan. You're gonna troll me on a live stream, it's even worse. You're gonna troll me on a live stream at 2 a.m. You're getting me at 2 a.m. What do you think's gonna happen? The last person who tried to pull crap like that with me at 2 a.m, well, at least they took their first morning in stride, at least. But yeah. 2:40 in the morning. I didn't even get to the part where he said he was joking, because I don't go that far with people who were being like that in this type of a public setting. I don't go that far to actually go down through all the comments I haven't caught up to yet. No, they're getting blocked right there. That's yeah. He'll have to apologize to me on Discord if he wants any form of reprieve. He's gonna have to apologize to me in person on Discord. Because that's just not right, bro. Well, thank you Thank you, Wolsel. I really appreciate that because I try to engage people. I mean, these live streams, these Q&As are all about engaging the audience. That's the whole point. I don't have these without engaging the audience. Oh, bloody brilliant, Claude. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yeah, your English is great. Your typing English is great. I can understand you well. So yeah, you don't need to be nervous or anxious about your English around me. I can understand you fine. No, I don't mention mantras for intention because I don't use them. I don't recommend them. No, an intention is deciding to do something in the future. Some people use those. I don't. It's not part of what mild is. Yeah, there's a reason I didn't mention it in the mild guide because it's not actually part of mild. So, I would just decide. Decide you're going to do this. You can remind yourself of it throughout the process. Thinking about it throughout the process is a good idea. You don't have to repeat things to yourself. But it's a decision that you make to recognize that you're dreaming. It's an important decision. It should be one that's important to you, and you're associating that decision to your dreams by using the rest of the process. Does the guide focus on the intention of seeing dream signs and getting aware? Then the dream signs are kind of like there's like a double bonus here. So one, it's added criticality bonus. I mean, you're teaching yourself to find things that are out of place in your dreams. So learn to recognize when something is out of place, so that when you do recognize something later, you'll immediately associate that to dreaming. It's associative. You're associating this is out of place to I am dreaming. You're making that sort of association. So it's very helpful there. It's recommended in just about most major mild guides out there, like decent ones, honestly, like ones like Stephen LaBerge would use, or like Dr. Kristen Lamarca's mild guide on her website. Finding something out of place, finding something that's a dream sign, or finding as many as you can. In my case, I like to find as many as I can. It's kind of an exercise. Okay, what's out of place in this dream? All right, well, what am I doing in Brooklyn, New York? Okay, I have no reason to be there. How did I get here? No flights. Why is my mother here? Why am I describing Airbnbs from like 2 or 3 different versions from different dreams? What am I doing in the subway now? How did I get here? Why am I getting on the 2 train? Where am I going? Why is this a DC Metro configuration? There are no forward-facing or backward-facing seats in the New York subway. Only sideways-facing seats. Why does this feel neither like the New York subway or the DC Metro? Why does this feel like Philadelphia? All right, those are all dream signs. Every single thing I just mentioned from a dream that I had today, within the past 24 hours, all those are dream signs. But yeah. For me, dream signs are pretty important, but it's about associating your intentions to your dreams. That's what mild is about. Someone look for you if you disappear. You could imagine performing a concert. I could imagine flying a Griffin class runabout starship from a Star Trek game that I play. I could imagine that. You saw the variation with Stephen LaBerge's mouth. Yeah, I included some of it. I don't think I included every variation, but I included some of the bigger ones in one of the conclusion sections of my technique, because I wanted to try to be accurate to the source material to the extent of trying to acknowledge where I differ from it. Yes, Cruising Comet is lit. Not gonna lie. Do I listen to? No, I don't listen to either of those. No, I don't like those that type of show. Nah, the doctor show stuff. My mom likes some of those. Not my style. No, I like space shows like Star Trek, Star Wars. I like sci-fi, futuristic, or action shows where, hey, look, there's some terrorists. Let's go kick the living crap out. So those kind of shows, action show, action adventure, or like comedy thing, or sci-fi. Those are kind of my things. Or the shows I actually watch the most: Jeopardy, and Jeopardy. Well, thank you, Cruise and Comment. I really appreciate your dedication and you actually listening to this. That's amazing. like a podcast while I write an essay. How many times do I wake back to bed? I might do 2 instead of 1, but I don't know. Honestly, I wake up anywhere from like notice wakings anywhere from like a couple to 6 times every single night. I don't always weaponize them enough. Sometimes I'm just a lazy idiot. But when I do, it's usually at least twice or 3 times a night that I'm actually weaponizing the wakings that I'm getting. But yeah, do it. Like do 2 wake back to bed. See what happens. Separate them by like at least an hour and a half, maybe 3 hours. You do one earlier in the night. You do one 3 hours after you fall asleep, and do one 6 hours after you fall asleep. Yeah, try that. See what happens. Yeah, you didn't see reality checks in the chat. I don't recommend reality checks generally. I recommend different forms of criticality. Like there's something you can do as an addition to criticality, but I wouldn't just do them on their own for their own sake. There are more reliable methods of criticality out there that I recommend, like sporadic awareness technique or ADA, things like that. I don't recommend reality checks to people. That's why you don't see them in my guide, because I don't recommend them. How do I remind myself of intention as well? It says that you should do that in the guide. Just think about it. You just think about it. So you come with a dream sign and go, okay, I'm going to recognize that I'm dreaming, and you move on. Like when I do cruising comment, what I do is I'm going through my dream. So for example, the New York City dream from last night. Okay, why am I in Brooklyn? Right, it doesn't make sense. That the whole Airbnb thing. This is a huge dream sign. Why is my brother here? You know, the whole point of recognizing that is that I'm going to recognize that I'm dreaming, as I probably am going to mild with this in like 10, 20 minutes whenever I actually log off here. I am going to mild with that. I mean, why not? There's dream sign material everywhere. I got lucid in this. I could have done other things while I was lucid, and I do mild with dreams that I got lucid in. I do. I usually do that, and I change the outcomes or what I did. But in this case, yeah, so there's some big dream signs here. Just remind yourself, hey, I'm going to recognize that I'm dreaming. That's why I'm doing all this. Okay, why am I here? I'm doing some criticality too. Why am I in the New York subway? How did I get in here? What time is it? Well, I actually answered that on the train. So I guess that actually is something I have an answer for. Okay, why am I on this train? Where am I going? That's a dream sign. I don't know. How did I get to New York City? That's not nearby. That's not near where I live. I can't afford to get there right now. I have less than $100 in my PayPal. I actually cannot afford the plane ticket or even a bus ticket. So there are dream signs here that I can just pick out and go, hey, this doesn't make sense. I'm going to recognize that. I'll just remind myself of that. I don't always do it every time, but I'll go through and times I'll just remind myself as I'm going through. It really depends. This dream is so dream sign rich. It's in like every single thing that takes place is a dream sign in this dream. It's so crazy how many dream signs there are. And there are dream signs I created myself. No, I'm not Omni. I get 1 to 2. Well, usually 1 to 2 is the night. 1 lucid normally. There are some nights where I don't get any, and there's some nights where I get 2. Some nights I get 3. Some nights I'm really lucky I get like 4, and they kind of counterbalance each other. So I usually get 7 or maybe a little over 7 a week. It usually averages out to about nightly. Usually it is nightly, and sometimes there are nights where I don't get any. Sometimes there are nights I get 2 or more. So it really averages out pretty nicely. I'm trying to creep up to where I can get my LD count to actually match my day-night count. That's something I'm aiming for. Versus dream you had happened, you were 6, you had no idea what they were. So you just ended up on a random theme park ride falling off into dream control. That's actually pretty funny. I'm just gonna show this up here for everyone to see it. Jelly, it's cool that you had a lucid dream when you were 6. That's actually a pretty funny story. That's pretty funny. Ever thought that as a dream but weren't? No, because I have a very good grasp on reality. I will, question if I'm dreaming. Question constantly. If I'm in a situation that's unusual to me, I will ride roller coasters and question and think about that I could be dreaming at any moment, including this moment. I think there have been times where I've questioned because something really crazy has happened, and I will actually take the moment and use that as a teaching example for myself and teaching myself to be critical more. And I will, anytime something out of place or weird happen or like unusual happens in real life, I will use that as a teaching moment for criticality. I'll go, hey, I could be dreaming right now. maybe I don't think I am, but I could be at any moment in time. And then I will be critical about everything I think I've done since I last woke up, and just go through all my memories. I'm usually pretty good. I have pretty good memory log of everything I've done today. Let's just get back to when I got up. It was around 11:35. I kind of sat in bed, listened to YouTube videos for a bit. Mom left to go eat, and as soon as she left, I called Dad to verify she was going out to lunch with people because she was leaving at 11:35, 11:38 actually in the morning, and she wouldn't usually get back until approximately 1:15 in the afternoon. Dad comes home, gets lunch. I eat lunch, go back upstairs. I listen to more stuff, go to the bathroom, get on my work computer. Actually, I'm on my personal computer for a couple hours. Get off that around 3:51 or 3:41 actually. Go get stuff out of my backpack, get on my personal computer, clock into work at approximately 3:51 after signing into everything. Go to my 4 o'clock meeting, check some stuff off on this website that I'm going through. Clock out of work at 5:45, submit last week's timesheets, get back to this game I'm on, check a couple things there over on my personal computer. When that's done, I go out and log out of that game, go downstairs, eat dinner, watch Jeopardy from last Friday. The champion won. Watch Jeopardy from today. The champion lost. Spoiler alert, by the way. Once I finished with that, I pet the dog who came over to see me. One of the 4 dogs we have. Another one tried to get in the way. Wasn't really happy about that. Went to the bathroom, washed my hands, got my water bottles filled back up. Went back upstairs, is back on my computer on both the games I play tonight, doing different stuff. Got on the Discords, filled out my Lucidity log Excel spreadsheet for Lucid Dreams 555 and 556. Added to my Dream Count on Lucid and Dream Cafe. Was on Dream Cafe, answering questions for a bit on like a couple of games, talking to different people, doing different things. On the Star Trek game, I was tracking a Cardassian patrol fleet through different star systems. And then on Discord, I was talking to you guys, answering lucid dreaming questions, checking in with Colin. I gave him Dream Guide tonight. I checked in with Claude and everybody else. I asked for people if they wanted me to stream tonight. Jacover was too busy. He's at TAFE. He wouldn't be able to show up. Other people said yes. I said 5 upvotes. I got 5 upvotes, then 7. Someone with an M in their name said if I was up to 7. I set up the stream in StreamYard, edited the settings in YouTube, copied the link, made the announcements, posted the links, came into StreamYard, went into the studio, and proceeded to live stream for the past hour. That's everything I've done since I woke up today at approximately 11:35 a.m. Anything out of place in that? No, not really anything out of place. This is actually my memory of everything I've done. That's very normal for me. That sort of day is kind of normal for me. So yes, I can actually do that. I can go through my whole memory since I last think I woke up, which is about 14 hours ago now. So yeah. How long for looking at, so 2:20 a.m. Cruising Comet. How long for a Dream Science stage? Imagining what to do part. Imagine what to do while Lucid. Doing my guide, you want to find as much as possible. Well, the Dream Sign thing isn't a stage, Cruising Comet. The Dream Sign thing is, while you're going through a previous stream from beginning to end, pick out as many as you can. Anything that's out of place, pick out any Dream Signs. But then once you've gone to the end of the dream, you've completed that part. However many you can find. And then as far as the imagining part, you're imagining what you pick any point in the dream, and you rescript the dream. You imagine that you got lucid at this point. That's why I recommend picking a dream sign for this. You imagine you got lucid at this point, and you imagine doing things you would do if you had been lucid in that dream. And then you sort of you repeat that process for about 15 to 20 minutes. Pretty straightforward. Also, probably last question. How did I find out about lucid dreaming? And did I have experience? I found out about it on YouTube, like everybody else, from the infographic show, actually, and then Explore Lucid Dreaming, where I proceeded to learn all the misinformation. I had no knowledge of what lucid dreaming was before October of 2020. I started on Thursday, October 15th, 2020. That was day 1, night 1. I learned about it just a little bit before, and then I actually learned enough, like a little bit to where I thought I could actually start practicing that day. So that's what I started. I tend to be pretty secretive, so I didn't really tell a lot of people. I joined the Discord, I believe, on Saturday, October 17th. So right before my birthday, right before I turned 24. Sunday, October 18th of 2020. 2020 was a crazy year. I had a couple of lucid dreams before that without knowing at all. what lucid dreaming was. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Oh no, there's nothing like that. No overloads, no nausea, nothing. I've had trouble flying before. It really it's anxiety based. Sometimes I'll lose tactile sensation. Usually just try to get wind blowing. I don't usually do it for long, and then I'll try to change pitch or direction. The times I've managed to do it and land, I can change locations easily. That's never an issue. But getting the feeling to last for a sustained period of time has been where anxiety's been a problem. That is a personal question, actually, Wolf Soul, what my job is, because only like 3 people do it for the particular office I work for. So that is actually a personal question. Do I skip imagine getting lucid after a while? You imagine getting lucid after you've gone through the whole dream, picked out dream signs, and no, I don't skip that. Should make you a guy. Well, I need to evaluate you. I would need to actually be able to spend time with you, or have someone I know evaluate you, because we're in different time zones, and I wouldn't really be able to evaluate you really easily, I think, judging by the time zone difference. Well, guys, I officially caught up. Thank you guys for being here. Let me see how we are on time. I really need to go to bed. We're up to 7 people again. Holy crap. An hour and 36 minutes. Wow. But yeah, I think we're basically about done, guys. I do need to go to bed. It is late. And I want to wish all of you guys a good night. Thank you for watching. Thank you, everyone, for participating. This has been a wild ride, a fun ride, an enjoyable ride. Thank you all. And do have yourselves a good afternoon for you guys over there in Australia. And a good night for me, because I'm going to bed. Thank you all. And as soon as I can find in broadcast, thank you. And good night.